Hi, my name is Kevin Fernandez and welcome to my channel, Gamers Genie. Today, we're going to learn how to play the Railway Tycoon game, Railroad Rivals. This 1 to 5 player game designed by Glenn Drover and published by Forbidden Games. In this game, you are a big businessman willing to invest your money in the latest and greatest technology, the railroad. As stocks go up, you could gain or you can gain money, and as stocks go down, you can lose money. Find out if you will become a rich billionaire or a penniless bum as we go to the table and learn how to play Railroad Rival. Each player chooses a color and places all of the locomotives of that color as well as the colors of the characters near them. Place the Chicago, St. Louis, and Cincinnati city tiles face down in the middle of the table and mix them up. Randomly select one of them, placing it face up in the middle of the table. This is the starting tile. Draw goods cubes equal to the number shown on the tile and place them on the tile. Return the other 2 tiles to the pile face down. Place all of the tiles face down and separate the tiles into 2 groups marked on the backs of the tiles. We got city and stock tiles. We'll form a new draw pile. Take the character cards for each player. Shuffle them and deal them out from left to right to create an initial player turn order. The card on the far left is the first player, then left to right, second, third, and so on. And so I'm just going to place this blue one for Jordan, this yellow one for me. Place the locomotive from the player who is first on the 6th spot on the starting track. Place a locomotive from the player who is second on the 8th spot, and so on, with each player starting 2 positions higher than the other player who is before them in player order. The number of goods cubes is determined by the number of players you have. So for a 1 to 3 player game, it is 16 brown cubes and 10 yellow cubes. Since we are going to play a 2-player game, that's what we're going to use. But if we're going to do a 4-player game, we need 16 brown cubes, 10 yellow cubes, and 10 black cubes. And for a 5-player game, we need 16 brown cubes, 10 yellow cubes, 10 black, and 10 gray cubes. Place these cubes in the bag. Place the remaining goods cubes out of play. They will not be used in this game. And that completes the setup. Each turn consists of 4 phases. Number 1, draw a tile and bid for turn order. Number 2, draft tiles. Number 3, place the city tile. And number 4, deliver a good. Draw tiles equal to the number of players for each pile, city and stock. Then turn them face up near the middle of the table. So for example, we have 2 players, so we need 2 city and 2 stock. We're going to put Cincinnati here, and we'll put Atlanta right here. Then we have Southern Railway for stock, and we have Atlantic Coastline. The turn order of the first turn of the game is decided by the draw during setup. So there is no bidding on the first turn. Each turn thereafter, the players will bid to decide who will become the first player. Starting with the last player farthest to the right character card, and moving left. The player will take turns bidding points or passing. When it is your turn to bid, you must make a bid that is higher than the previous bid or path. Once you pass, you may not bid again. The bidding continues until all players but one has passed. The player who's made the last highest bid pays by moving their locomotive on the scoring track down equal to the number of points that they bid. Then they moved their character card to the first spot, farthest left, keeping the remaining players' character cards in the same relative order to the right of them. In turn order, as shown by the character cards, starting with the first player, each player selects a tile from those that were drawn in phase 1. They may select either a city or a stock tile. Once all players have made their first selection, they each select a second tile of another type, so that each player draws one city and one stock. A player may not draw two of the same type of tile. Place your newly selected tiles in front of you. Stock tiles are placed face up in the city, and the city tiles are shown face down. Throughout the game, the value of the railroad stocks will increase as deliveries are made by the end of the game. The railroad stocks will be worth quite a few points. Drafting the stocks that will eventually have the most value is the key strategy in winning the game. In turn order, starting with the first player, each player will take a turn placing one of their city tiles on the table next to a city that was already placed on the edge of the railroad. So, for example, I can place my Cincinnati tile here. The city tile that you placed must match the railroad on the edge of the city tile that is placed next to it. When you place your city tile by matching a railroad, you have created a link in which you own. To show that you own the link, place one of your locomotives across the two tiles next to the matching railroad names. After placing your locomotive, blindly draw good cubes out of the bag equal to the number on the corner of that tile and place them in the center of that tile. Tiles may not be stacked on top of the tiles already placed. Only one side of the tile laid must match another tile's railroad. If placing a tile with a matching railroad edge also creates another matching edge, place your locomotive along with both matches. However, if placing a tile with the matching railroad edge means that there are unmatched edges, other tiles, the placement is still legal, but no locomotive is placed on edges with railroads that do not match. If you have a city tile that can make a legal match, then you must place a tile that makes a match, i.e., if you can make a match, then you must do so. Only one city tile is placed by each player on a turn. If the city tiles that you have do not match with an open railroad edge, with any open railroad edges on the table, then you must place a city tile with a blank edge, no railroad next to an already laid city tile with a blank edge. If you cannot make a legal match or match blank edges, you must pass and play no city tiles that turn. After each player has placed one of their city tiles or passed, then the player will deliver goods in turn order, starting with the first player. Each player will deliver one goods cubes. So again, a legal move is this NYC matches with the NYC in Chicago, and the MP on Omaha matches with this one in St. Louis. And so then we'll take a blue and a yellow, and we will pair them up, along with the goods. You may choose any goods cubes on a city tile and deliver it via an existing link on that city tile. Take a goods cube off the city tile, declare which link you are using, and place the cube on the table to show that it was delivered. Delivering a goods cube will score you 1 to 3 points and will increase the stock value of the railroad whose link is used to make the delivery. So, if I took this gray cube from St. Louis and moved it to Chicago, that would score me 3 points. So, I get 1, 2, 3, plus I get a New York stock tile, and it goes on the stock board. If it already existed, it would go up to the 2 space. Score points for the player who made the delivery, the acting player. 3 points if that color cube has not already been delivered. So it hasn't been delivered. It was my delivery, so I get 1, 2, 3. 2 points if that color was already delivered once that turn, and 1 point if that color was already delivered twice or more that turn. If the link used to make the delivery is not owned by the acting player, the owner of the locomotive scores 2 points. So, for example, let's say that I moved one, let's say I moved a black one to Omaha. Well, then Jordan would get the point instead. The value of the railroad stock used goes up 1 point. Move that railroad stock value marker up a point on the stock value board. Once all players have delivered goods cubes, place the delivered cubes back in the bag. At some point in the game, there will be a draft tiles phase where there aren't enough city tiles in the draw pile for all players to get one. When that occurs, remove any remaining city tiles in the draw pile from the game and draw 2 stock tiles instead. 1 per player. The draw for that turn and any remaining turns will consist of 2 stock tiles per player rather than the usual 1 city, 1 stock tile. The last turn is triggered when any player places their last city tile. When that turn is complete, the game ends. Each player now scores points for each stock tile owned based on the railroad's current value on the stock value track. Add these points to those that they already have on the score track. The player with the most points is the winner. In case of a tie, the player who owns the highest value stock is the winner. If players are still tied, whoever owns the next highest stock wins. If there still is a tie, keep comparing stock values until a single winner is determined. And that's all you need to know to play Railroad Rivals. If you have any questions about this game, please put them in the comments below. And be on the lookout for our gameplay video of this game. If you really enjoy the content on our channel, please check out our Patreon page and think about becoming a Patreon supporter. If you're a little tight on cash, that's fine. All you need to do is mention us to your friends and family. And don't forget to follow us on social media. That is Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'll leave links to those in the description below. We hope to see you in our gameplay video on this game. But until then, thanks for the views.